So this is my favorite question. I get this asked all the time, and it's very interesting. And I really feel like this is the most important question of the day. I'm looking for equity investors. Do I still need your services? Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I actually try to look for brands that are actively pitching to equity investors. Now, first of all, that is a hard, almost full-time job for people to do that and to run their companies. So I do recognize that that is hard work to then speak to yet another entity and put another thing on your plate. But depending on where you are, like how much money you want to raise, 1 million, 10 million, 50 million, and what type of investors you're looking at, angel versus venture capitalist. It's a little bit different for each one, but in just a very simple explanation is that most investors want to come in and use their cash to leapfrog your company from one phase to the next. They want to put their cash to work for an immediate opportunity that has been analyzed and assessed, and it's really going to grow this company and get this company in front of a lot of people. So maybe right now you're in front of like a couple thousand people, and they're going to use their money to get you in front of millions and millions of people because your product is proven and your costs of good are proven. And so they're going to use their cash to get you to the next level. And they want you to grow very, very quickly because they have to plan their exit. So whether that exit is in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, every investor has a different strategy, but they really make their money when they exit. So they're going to come in, they're going to grow you very quickly, get you as big as they can based on where they want to exit. And then they're going to plan the exit. And that's how they utilize their cash. However, you have a separate parallel need, is that you have the day-to-day that you need to run. You need to pay your team, or you need to hire some consultants or some part-time work such as PR work, or you need to buy inventory, or you need to do a marketing test to prove that your product can be scaled up. Or maybe you are going into a retailer and you are having to make the investment of doing the point of sale displays, and you have this need for cash day to day that is budgeted for. It's in your numbers. It's not like a huge spike to your cost of goods. That is where a lender is the best match for you. And you should be doing them in parallel, because we come in and we say, okay, so you're going to grab this QVC opportunity and they're going to test you at a certain level. So let's say, I'm just going to be making this up for the purpose of this video, but let's say they're going to buy 25,000 units. So you need to buy the inventory for 25,000 units, usually a very quick turnaround. So you might need to be quickly making some design changes to the packaging or add different text, or maybe because maybe you're doing like a duo pack for this QVC opportunity. So you kind of have to make a different box and do the artwork a little differently. And so you're really hustling to make those changes, make the inventory, and get it to arrive in time for the QVC. And and you need cash for this opportunity. And that is what I call, day-to-day operations. And that is where a loan is a really good match for you, because you're borrowing money, you're paying interest, you're maintaining 100% control of your company, or however many team members you have. You're grabbing this opportunity, and now you have data with it when you're sitting down with the investor, because the investor is not going to want to rush and just decide to buy a portion of your company and wire money quickly so that you can catch this QVC opportunity. That they don't work in a rushed way, and that might spook them. But instead, you are launching your QVC, you get the numbers, let's say you sell out, and QVC comes back to you and says, oh, hey, that was great, and we got a lot of great feedback, and we sold out, and we could have sold more. So we'd like you to come back on in 3 months, and we want to buy 100,000 pieces from you. And then all of a sudden, maybe people have seen you around, and all of a sudden your talks with Target or Sephora or whomever, whichever retailer you are working in, all of a sudden they want to place an order. Well, now you have this data where you can sit down with your private equity investors and show them your trend. And now you're in a better negotiating position because you've had a chance to prove your business model to the next level, not just at the, the early stages. And you're also not in a rush to get the money. You don't need the money in 60 days, or you're going to run out of money and you can't pay your team. Instead, you have this loan coming in, you have this money to run your business, and you can, in a relaxed way, negotiate with the investors and maybe talk to 2 or 3 other ones, because now you've got maybe the time to talk to people. And maybe because you have this extra data, new ones are more interested. And at a very relaxed way, you can negotiate the equity. And when the investors come in, they may use some of their cash and pay off the loan themselves, but that rarely happens. They're not interested in paying off your debt. They're interested in paying for that inventory for Target because they want a huge order from you because the QVC was successful. So it's a very long story, which is why these are all going to be separate videos, because I have a feeling they're all going to be very long stories, is that your private equity investor has different goals and strategies than the lender who's looking at your business. And sometimes it is simpler to get a little stability and get in a loan. And that's where we help you, because we step in, and maybe you haven't closed your deal with your equity investors yet, and the local banks are not interested in lending you money, and you don't know how to find a lender. We step in, we look at your business, we understand who is interested in investing in you, so we can understand where you need the company to go and what your opportunity is, and we find you a lender. There are lenders out there that specialize in QVC. I'm just using that as an example on this video. That is their majority of their business. And so they can very easily assess the risk. They can look at your cost of goods. They can look at your product. They can speak to us about the nuances of QVC, and they can release funds much easier than let's say your local bank who you have your checking account with, or even if it's something like Chase and Wells Fargo. I keep using them as examples today, so we'll just keep going. They don't know how to assess QVC risk. To them, they might perceive QVC as very risky because QVC often will place a purchase order for the goods. So let's say that they need 10,000 pieces, but if you don't sell it on air during your slot, then you take that product back. And that's a very common business model for QVC. So, the game of QVC is trying to figure out and negotiate with them the right number that you feel comfortable building the inventory, but then you're selling enough. So QVC is happy enough because, they have a target that they want to sell, because that hour of time on air is very expensive and very critical that they put the right brands in there. So there's that negotiation where there has to be enough pieces selling per minute on air to make it worth their while and your while. And most banks would look at that to say well, that looks to me like a consignment scenario, and I'm not comfortable with that. Whereas a lender who specializes in QVC, they understand that that's how QVC works. And they understand that there are many, many success stories with QVC. And they have a very good understanding of predicting how profitable or how successful you could be with your product if given that opportunity, because that's what they look at day in and day out. So to circle back, do you need our services? Absolutely. And I think any investor coming on board would be impressed that you are trying to solve your day-to-day cash flow needs without their money. And that just gives you a little more leverage in showing them that you can run your business, but you're looking for a partner to expand. And anyone who's looking for private equity investors should, at the same time, in parallel, be finding lenders that keep their day-to-day costs going and help them reach the next phase, that maybe it's not that 10-stair jump that the investors can jump in, but you're managing your business, it's growing, it's thriving, and it's within your cost of goods. Like it's not a negative impact on your profitability at the end of the day. And that is really the best scenario for all people. So, and like I said, worst case scenario is that you set up a loan and a year later you bring in investors, and the investors want to pay off your loan because they want you, they don't want you paying interest, or they want you to focus on something else. But it's never happened because, you know, they like to use their money for much bigger things. So yes, you need our services. That was the short answer to that question.